Have you ever had periods with a lot of negative or pointless thoughts, to the degree that your brain kind of feels like a bully in your own head? It's utterly important to bring this inner bully under control, not only because of your well-being, which is obviously an important aspect, but also, practically speaking, because of your productivity. Many people's brains have turned into a broken tape that repeats the same negative beliefs over and over again. It lets different thoughts pop up in your mind, most of which are negative. These negative thoughts are like a filter through which we see the world with a distorted view. In order to free yourself from the destructive impact they have on you, you have to see your thoughts more as objects, so you no longer identify with them and reduce the emotional component. Just because you think a thought, it's not necessarily true. It's not necessarily you, and it's not necessarily helpful. The job of your inner critic is to warn you of potential threats, so it sends you a lot of negative thoughts into your conscious mind. As long as we interpret them like an objective comment, there is no problem. But this isn't what we humans usually tend to do because we are emotional creatures, and because of that, our thoughts behave more like viruses than objective comments. The moment a thought has an influence on our behavior, the virus takes over. You think that you suck at writing, so you procrastinate. Or you think you are bad at math, so you stop trying to get good grades. The thing about these thoughts is that they might actually be true. Toxic positive people would lie to you and say you are amazing, even though you are not. I don't do that. I'll give you an alternative view. Negative thoughts are usually pretty helpful. The only problem is that they include the notion that you are a fixed human being with no room for development. But this is simply not true. Your inner bully tells you that you are XYZ. And now comes the crucial point. Let's imagine you were XYZ in the past. Lazy, socially awkward, or whatever applies to you. But that does not mean that you have to be XYZ in the future. You can turn XYZ into ABC, and this transformative element is the true positive message. The first step is to bring awareness to the thought. In the beginning, it's often just a vague, undefinable feeling. But once you actively pay attention and articulate the thought, we have the ability to analyze it properly. Then it's time to separate the gem from the garbage. The emotional baggage and the destructive elements of a thought have to be separated from the learning we can pull out of it. Your inner critic tells you, from time to time, a truth you don't necessarily want to hear.
And your job is to find it under the emotional baggage and confront it forthrightly. When we think that we suck at writing, the garbage part is the implication that we are fundamentally bad, can't improve, and that all the invested time is wasted. The seemingly obvious learning behind all these lies is that we have to practice more to improve our skills. Most of our negative thoughts are so wrong that they can only survive when we don't think about them carefully and as objectively as possible.
I always think of the second rule from Jordan Peterson. Treat yourself like you are someone responsible for helping. You have to try to be constructive, supportive, and honest towards yourself, like you are towards a friend you genuinely care for. Now, overcoming negative thoughts isn't a one-time event, but a lifelong practice, and the longer you train it, the better you will become. You have to turn your mind into a machine that automatically separates garbage and gems, so that you can move forward in life with as little friction and as much constructive positivity as possible. But some people are at a point where this method might be difficult to cultivate because their brains are so full of negative thoughts that they can barely see through them. The first thing to say, it's not your fault. Second thing to say, it's your fault when you don't take action and write your thoughts down. Take a piece of paper and write as much down as possible. Try it for at least 3 minutes. Writing is a bulletproof way to detach yourself from your thoughts because you literally bring them into the real, material world and can look at them from an outside perspective. And I think pretty much everyone has way more baggage in their head than they think. When you train your mental muscles over and over, you will first of all learn a lot about yourself and the areas where you can improve. And second of all, you will become a person with more and more constructive thoughts. The solution is not to ignore the negative, but to overcome the negative. Pull valuable feedback from your thoughts and leave the baggage behind you. And one last reminder, the inner critic is not you. Let's do a quick experiment. Breathe in and out. Where was the inner critic in this moment? He dies in moments of mindfulness, so he can't be you. Join the free Better Human community if you want, and have a wonderful day.